thought you could destroy a tornado.
We never had a chance.
You want one?
Hey guys, what's up? My name is Naz Perez and you're watching the big ticket interview for the movie Twisters. So when I think of tornadoes, the first thing that comes to my mind is my relationship history. And then the second thing that comes to mind
Whoa, you gotta unpack that.
not today, Anthony, is the 90s cult classic film Twister. It was one of the most expensive films at the time, and it was like such a phenomenon. I remember shows like Rocket Power quoting it, like, it's a twister, it's a twister. And we just all became so scared and yet somewhat fascinated with Twisters because the plot was so valid. In fact, Michael Crichton, who wrote Jurassic Park and the original Twister, said that he based the movie off real scientists that would like try and throw instruments into funnels. And so when I was thinking about this interview today, I was like, there's something so Spielbergian about both of these films, you know, and of course Spielberg has produced both of them, but just the thought of the four of you guys chasing storms and like really cool cars to a really cool score is why we love going to the movies. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys about this today. And I wanted to start off by asking you guys, what is your favorite memory or moment from the original Twister film?
There's so many. I mean, I think the cow is so iconic. Like,
Right. Whoa, what are you doing here? I told you to get out the shot. She's always trying to get in the shot. This is Nancy, the great-great-granddaughter of the original Flying Cow from the OG movie. Somebody please get Nancy, man. Somebody please, because she's always acting up, so I apologize.
Thank you, Brooklyn. Thank you.
Come on, man. Stop,
Get Nancy out of here.
Stop, man.
Cow seems like it's gotten some work done. Right. The skin seems a little too tight for me.
Nancy
Technology advances in
Botox going
Botox
crazy.
these days, man.
Something is not right about that cow.
Mad cow.
Mad cow. Mad cow. That's good. Good.
She got a good
call
heart,
sign.
though. Sorry, Daisy. You would.
well, it just, I mean, I love Nancy. I love her legacy.
Well, yeah.
I think the cow, and also I think, like you said, I think Twisters is sort of, before that film, I think people didn't really know that these storm chasers really do exist and do properly chase in Oklahoma. And we've met loads now, and they drive in these like incredible cars that they've pimped out with like chasing equipment and axes and like ways to measure hail, and you know they have such a reverence and a love of this like crazy weather. And so yeah, I think just seeing chasers, seeing like the kind of mad epic scale of it, I just, that was my biggest memory really. But the cow, definitely.
I also feel like how Jurassic Park made archaeologists look so cool.
Yeah.
I feel like we kind of get to do that for storm chasers.
For
You know what I mean? For meteorologists. It's like we are making, you know, people that chase these storms. Although I will say, we went to the National Weather Center, and you know, all the guys that we got trained by, you know, these real life storm chasers, and we got to ride in the real cars. They're part, these trucks and things like that that are actually going and chasing storms are actually in our movie.
Wow.
You know, so when you're in the parking lot and stuff, you're actually hanging out with real storm chasers. They're not
sick.
extras. They're the real deal. So we had those like references the entire movie. We were able to call on their expertise and stuff like that. So just like the original you're talking about, you know, we had the real people next to us. So this movie is legit as they come, you know, so we get to honor the real guys that do it.
When you guys were saying, when you brought up meteorologists, I instantly thought of Bill Paxton kind of getting made fun of for being a weather guy. And that was my favorite moment from the original, is just him chasing storms in like a 90s male's like blazer and suit, like what people would wear back in the day. I so miss him as a leading man. But Glenn, it's been really beautiful to watch you ascend to leading man of a blockbuster. And you play Tyler Owens, social media superstar in this movie who really thrives on posting his storm chasing adventures. And I feel like you got to bring out a little of your Texas in him, which I'll ask you about later. But because I wanted to ask you, this is a sequel, but I've heard you say multiple times that this is very much a standalone film, and yet we see Dorothy 5, the instrument, in the trailer. So how exactly is Twisters connected to Twister, and how does Twister sort of raise the stakes?
I mean, I think, you know, when you're making sort of a follow-up to any film that sort of has the reverence of the original Twister, you have to figure out what needs to, what do audiences, how do they engage with that world, you know? And I think for me, you know, one of the things I think is we have the greatest team of minds around this thing. Obviously, you have Spielberg. You have
Spielberg's a sick name, though.
Spielberg. Spielberg is sort of like, I don't know why he makes me call him that. He's like, it's not Mr. Spielberg, it's Mr. Steelberg. Actually, I've This is probably why I've never gotten a chance to meet him. That's
crazy.
No, I think what you think about is you go, what's the texture of that world? What's the fun of the world? What's the drama of the world?
Right.
How do audiences engage? Why do they want to revisit it? And I think we have a great team of minds around it that really put a lot of thought into it. And so like things like Dorothy, you know, for the knowing fan of the original Twisters, we get to bring that back into it. But I think on the whole, we have a story that stands alone in a really, really great way. So you don't even need to revisit the original. You can if you want. They're more Easter eggs, but I think this movie stands alone on its own with new characters, new cast, new effects. Like we've brought this thing into the present in a great way, and we use all the tricks in the book to give audiences something that's, you know, visceral, intense, fun, romantic, all the things you want in a movie.
You mentioned effects, and I'm just watching this tornado behind you guys. This set's incredible, by the way. It's like one of my favorite I've ever done an interview on. So the highest category a tornado can be, I believe, is an F5 on the fajita scale. I almost said fajita scale, but that's a different tornado. I was wondering about the lethalness and the intensity and what sort of new tornadoes we'll get to see in this movie.
I mean, the F5 is,
Yeah.
You're definitely gonna see an F5. in this
Definitely
one.
not.
Yeah, wow.
And but you know, I think we have F2 in this one.
We have twins.
We got twins.
Twins.
We got twins.
We got twins.
Yeah.
Anyone who gives birth to twins now has to send.
Yeah, that's a new
it's
thing.
gonna be your
You gotta send
face.
the photo of that.
There's got to be like a helium balloon with your face on it.
Yeah,
that they'll sell
exactly,
at
right?
hospitals
Just
or
like
something.
the
Yeah.
mustache and just.
Brandon on Cameo.
Yeah, just on
Yeah,
camera.
just Cameo for the rest of your life.
My camera.
We got twins. Like,
We got
man.
twins.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Brandon just bought a new house with that.
Really.
Cameo
like-
bugs. But I mean, that's what intrigued me about the first one when I watched it
Yeah.
as a kid. Like that was
Yeah.
the VFX horrified me. Like I was just like, that's how it feels like to be haunted by a tornado, and that's what it felt like. Just something creeping up on you and haunting. And as it gets closer, like I felt my heart racing. And
Yeah.
rewatching it as an adult, I'm like, this is crazy that they pulled this off back then. So imagine what we're doing now. Seeing the stuff now is crazy.
Well,
it feels like you're there.
That's what I'm so excited about, because on the original film, they actually use a Boeing 707 to like create the wind. And Anthony, I know you play Javi, and he's testing out like a new groundbreaking tracking system. And I just can't wait to see the groundedness and grit that you bring to like a tornado movie, because it's like that Brooklynness of you that I'm so excited to see. And obviously there's tornadoes in New York and apparently earthquakes now. But I wanted to ask you about bringing these tornado scenes to life, guys, because everyone has a million questions. It's like, is there debris everywhere? How fast are the fans going? Did you guys use a plane? Do you have like wind and rain in your face? What is the actual strategy as to like acting out being in a tornado?
We got hit with a jet engine. We had
airplane.
it was an airplane.
Jet.
It was a jet engine that they used to blow air on. I mean, it was crazy. It was insane.
It was crazy.
It
I mean,
was insane.
like every time you're trying to do dramatic acting, there's like somebody literally throwing cubes of ice in your face.
Yes.
And like you can't even open your eyes because the wind is so much that your like whole face is just blasted.
Right.
But no, they had full jet engines. They were so loud, and they would like be able to lift chairs and tables. And like we had a scene through a it's like a farmer's market, and like whole tables were going. Like I mean, it was crazy.
We had to
Chaos.
jump over props. I mean, like the props were flying, like for real, flying in the middle of the street, and we got like pelted with this massive water tank. So we're in the middle of the street, sliding in the middle of the street. We get up, the fan's still blowing, and I'm just talking about just chucking things our way. So
Like
Oh my
what
God,
kind of
crazy.
things?
I'll give you like a picture of
table.
what it's like to shoot Twisters, which is, first off, we shot on film, so you don't get many takes, you know, you get maybe 1 or 2 takes. But in addition to that, you are destroying an entire street or an entire town. The reset is too long, so you usually get to do it like once or twice.
Oh, I didn't think
so
about that.
you have a guy going, all right, fans, debris, like, you know, wait up, let's go. And so all of a sudden you're like, oh God, and you just run, and just whatever is happening in the moment, it's all organic, because this is not like getting hit in the face like in a hair commercial. You're getting
No,
rocketed.
fully blasted.
and then fully
There's
blasted.
also like certain things, like I'd find weird stuff in my hair, like because they're throwing debris at you, and like debris can be from like like a plastic cup to like a pair of knickers. Like you just don't know what you're gonna find. Like they just chuck anything in front of the fan. But I'd find like weird bits of stuff. They used to put these drops in my ear to like try and get rid of all the dust and gunk that had like got collected.
Weirdest thing you found in your hair?
Weirdest thing, I think I found a straw. That was like not that weird, but like it was weird. It shouldn't really usually be there. So yeah.
like a drinking
Like a drinking
straw.
And it was
Not like I also thought that too.
It was cool too because we're actually like on the roads of Oklahoma and in towns in Oklahoma shooting this stuff. Like it's not like on big blue screen.
No.
Like we are there, so it feels like we're getting blasted by a tornado. There's this like one stunning shot that we had in Oklahoma where it's like this red dirt road, and then I'm outside the truck just getting pelted by red dirt.
Oh my God.
So the resets were crazy, and yeah, like the post shower after a day of work after the tornado stuff is just like gunk, just gooping off, and you're sweaty. It's like over 100 degrees
dust
every
in your
day.
hair.
Yeah.
Your eyes.
Yeah, I had a mustache in it.
Like
so-
a dust stash? A dust stash?
Mustache. It's getting wild, but we were in the mix.
I mean, you guys, did this sound like the way you were describing it, like fans, wind, air, like that sounds so fun, and like my heart was just beating, and I couldn't, when I was thinking of the four of you and just reading really about all four of you, and I'm so impressed by you guys. You're such an agile group, you know? It's like, Anthony, I know you grew up playing baseball. You were the youngest jam skater professionally at 13, BMX, Mai Tai. You jumped into like alligator-infested waters for crawdads. You like doing your own stunts on Maverick, shark-infested waters for anyone but you. That I'm like, this is crazy. Like this is like an agile team.
Yeah.
What would you? And let's go down the line. What is the wildest thing you had to do when it came to like bringing this tornado scene to
What's
life?
the wildest thing
For the film.
we had to do? I would say there's a sequence in the movie that I think is going to be one of the most incredible action sequences of all time.
Wow.
It all happens in a oneer. And I think that we shot that in December with a rain machine, one of the coldest nights I've ever experienced, getting dragged across a pool by a wire. And Daisy, I think this was maybe the most physical thing that I've ever done.
Oh, completely.
Where when you're truly, like, you're talking about humans getting sucked up into a tornado, but you're recreating what it's like to be getting hit by debris and all that stuff. So you're watching real stuntmen getting sucked up into the sky, and you're watching trucks move across, and you're jumping into a pool, and you're getting dragged, and it's a fully physical experience, because the investment as an actor that you have is like, it can't be delicate. It can't look tender. Tornadoes aren't tender, and you have to put your body on the line in order to sell that experience. So I think like the cool part about this cast is that everybody is that invested. You know, everybody's willing to put their body on the line to do things that sell the movie, sell the experience.
Yeah, God, it just make me so excited to see this. I was also thinking about how tornadoes spin and how, Daisy, you're somewhat of a spin master, because I know that you're a DJ as well, and I feel like
DJ.
Master.
DJ.
I feel
that was a very good connection.
Thanks, I worked really hard on that one. I feel like your talent knows no bounds, truly, Daisy. Like, I've never gotten to talk to you before. I feel so lucky to get to. I was watching an interview Anthony did. He said you're one of the best actors he's ever worked with in his entire life. I know you play Kate, who is a former storm chaser. She's traumatized a little bit by tornadoes, so now she's in New York behind the screen, sort of safely studying them. And I was thinking about how much like scientific weather-related language was probably in your script. And
Yeah.
I've always been curious, do you fundamentally understand those concepts when you're saying them, or do you just memorize the lines and you're like, rotation levels, PRFs?
Language. There was like so much weather jargon. That was actually maybe one of the most challenging, like being dragged across a pool. I was like, chill. but like, I think, I love, like, I really nerded out on this film. I was such a huge fan of the original. And I also like love when you get a project where you really get to learn about something you don't know about. So I tried to do as much research as I could about weather, but like, and we went actually to NOAA, and we met real, like Glenn said, some real like storm chasers and real people who report the weather. And so we we went. They took us through like some lessons. So I had some fundamental idea of the mechanics, but there's also so much about tornadoes that we still don't know, which is why, partly why our characters are so curious about discovering more about them, because we still really don't know how they form and loads of things. So yeah, but to be honest, sometimes we were being, given certain lines thrown in on the day just by our weather expert. Would be like, try saying this. Like, Glenn had one, which isn't even a technical term, but you had to say like, well, look at the striation.
Well, this is where they basically said, all right, so like Daisy Glenn, you're gonna look at look at that cloud and like you're gonna see kind of a tornado on the horizon. Just sort of improv some stuff, and I was like, it's fluffy.
What jargon?
It's starting to spin.
It's looking stormy.
Yes.
The sky's gray.
There's gonna be wind.
So that was clearly not going to work. But again, the benefit that we have is we have the real deal people on set, making sure that we say the right thing in the right way. Daisy's the most prepared actor I've ever met, so she was a real life meteorologist the entire way through. But then when you have to like shout stuff at the horizon. There was one thing about striations that I was like, I don't know what a striation is. I'm gonna have to shout this and then look that up later.
Yeah, I kept sneaking lines to Glenn because like they'd toss me a line with weather jargon, and then I'm like, Boone wouldn't say this. Tyler would.
Tyler would say
Tyler
that.
would say it for sure. So I would just be like pronouncing stuff pretty bad and let someone else take over. So.
It's funny.
There we go.
I love that. Speaking of lines, I mean, Brandon, I've been following you since you were on the OA, and you're so captivating on screen, whether you're saying something or not saying something. And that's why we love watching you. But there's so many fun lines in this movie, guys. Like, you don't face your fears, you ride them, and we got twins. Brandon, what is your favorite line, and which one do you think is going to be like a meme this summer?
Oh man, I mean, we got twins is catching fire already. Catching fire.
Would you rather go up against Jean Jacket from Nope or a tornado?
Oh my God, a tornado is far more. An alien thing trying to attack is a little bit more unknown than a tornado. Although tornadoes are unknown too, especially these days. Climate change is a real thing, and there's some crazy weather going on. They're both unpredictable. Maybe I'd rather face a tornado.
Really?
Because Jean Jacket will.
Crazy.
I mean. Yo, I kind of fought Jean Jacket though, right?
Yeah,
Spoilers,
you did though, right?
I was throwing my hands in. But I think that it comes to the bottom line is that the sky doesn't like me. And I keep getting attacked in every movie. So I've got beef with the sky that I gotta sort out.
It reminds me of a line in Little Rascals where he's like, and the clouds opened up and God said, I hate you, Alfalfa.
Yeah.
So good, right? I love
I just
that
keep
line.
looking
Good
up
callback.
scared.
Thank you
just
so much for that.
like that's
They used
my
to call me
life.
alfalfa back
No
in the
way, I can see that,
real.
man.
100%.
I love it.
All my cousins.
I love it. But Brandon, I love that you said that because I actually would rather go up against anything but a tornado, which is why I'm so fascinated by your character, Tyler, who's the tornado wrangler. And I alluded to this earlier, but you were born in Austin. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you got to tap into your roots a little bit. He wears a cowboy hat in the trailer. I know you have a cowboy hat collection. He drives a really cool car. You have a Chevy Suburban.
No, I had a Silverado.
Silverado,
I got
that's
a
right.
Ram now, yeah.
You got a Ram now. How did you tap into Tyler's charisma? And can you tell us a little bit more about the car that he drives?
I mean, look, I find the most fun part about the Wranglers is like there's sort of a cowboy scientist thing going on that really defines this region. I think the most fun part about being around real life storm chasers is these guys are of Oklahoma, Nebraska, Kansas. These people are all of this region. They're all part of this tornado alley, this place where it's a singular place where weather does this, and what's really fascinating about it is these guys are so smart. They drive these big pickup trucks with all this cool gear on it, redneck Batmobile style.
Wow.
And it's fun. I mean, you look at this truck and you're fascinated. Like, I had to walk around this thing and get explained what everything does, and there's a function and practicality to everything, and a worst case scenario around, axes or shovels or extra tires or all these different things. And what I find to be the coolest part about what the Wranglers do is like storm chasing is really fun. And this region, these people, when they're getting hit by a tornado, for everyone else in the world, they're screaming in fear, and these guys are laughing as hard as they can and high-fiving each other. There's a joy around being a part of this like majestic, unexplainable thing.
There's
and I
traffic
feel like
to see it.
Yeah.
Like there's
Yeah.
traffic
Wow.
lanes to go chase. Like it's insane.
It's
Yeah.
so cool. Well, another majestic, unexplainable thing that we deal with in life is also love, which was very much at the center of the eye of the original Twister, which is why I love that movie. I was hoping the two of you could tell me if there is any romantic dynamic between Kate and Tyler, or if there's anything going on between them.
I think they have this kind of amazing chemistry. Like I think
Yeah.
when they first meet, they both kind of butt heads quite a bit, you could say, in that they have very different approaches to this kind of art of
Yeah.
chasing. Kate, when we meet her, she's been quite isolated. She's taken herself away from her home, and I think through meeting Tyler, like she really starts to come back into herself, and he shows her a love of chasing, and I think they really share that. So yeah, there is.
I think what's also really fun about our dynamic is that she comes into this story, for me, from my perspective, as a city girl. You know, someone who's from New York, you know, so the city girl coming back to Oklahoma, and I realized that this is where she's from. She was born around these things. She knows these things better than anyone, and really is of this place, but doesn't own it. You know, where, you know, I'm a guy that really owns this place, and yet I'm also a guy that's like, she doesn't give me as much credit as I should for being educated, for actually being like more of a scientist rather than just a self-aggrandizing cowboy. So I feel like the two, it's like, and the fun part is of the movie is like the metaphors. We watched this awesome documentary called Fire of Love, you know, about this couple.
The
volcanoes, those
Oh my God, I'm
volcanologists where
obsessed with that documentary.
this couple who basically runs towards volcanoes together. And my favorite part about it is that you have, you know, two people that maybe not, they wouldn't find each other in any part of life, but they have this common love and this common desire to get close to something that can potentially kill them. And I think that's like such a unique dynamic to show on film.
Yeah. And I love that I love that that's a thing. And I love that you almost single-handedly are like shepherding this comeback of the rom-com between, I mean, I saw Hitman at Sundance.
Oh,
It's
awesome.
unbelievable.
Isn't it fun? Yeah. And
that coming out with Twisters this summer, it feels like it's like the summer of Glenn. Like, I don't know if you feel like this is your summer. But you guys, I would love to hear your thoughts on that. And all of you guys are really like Where the Crawdads Sing, Nope, Transformers. Like, you've been in so many summer blockbusters, and summer blockbusters are such a touchstone of Americana, my favorite part of our culture. So I wanted to know what they mean to you and how you think Twisters adds to its legacy.
I mean, I think summer blockbusters have always had to be about an event, you know, and to justify people. For me, like I when I was a kid, I begged my parents to put me in like a summer movie camp, right? So basically, there's this thing where like other kids, you all go and see like a few movies a day, and you get to talk about them between, right? And so, but it was during the summer, so like you spend all day in the theater. It's hot as hell in Texas, so AC is like really great, and the movie's really great. But that started like my love of, I think, like my movie taste in general, which is the love of like something where it's like you bring every incredible person together for an experience, like a true ride. And I think like for me, like Twisters is a ride. You know, it's like getting to experience this with all the sound and you know, spectacle that goes along with it, you know, and it's a big, you know, group of people that come together for a common love. And that's what movie camp was. That's what Twisters is about, you know?
Yeah. I mean, summer blockbusters, like Glenn said, are an event. You know, you think about a Twisters or Transformers, or did Top Gun come out in the summer? Did Top Gun come out? You know, it's like these are big movies. These are big events. This is a thing that, you know, you want to go to, that you look forward to going to on a date, or you go to with your family or a bunch of friends, you know, and then you go out after, and everybody's hyped after the film. Everybody's talking about it, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's at dinner or it's at the club, you know, like everybody's hyped on it. And I think that's what's so special about specifically the summer movie, and a movie like this coming out that's so big, but about these intimate relationships between these people, but still a spectacle, a complete spectacle, you know. You know, so that's what gets me excited about the summer.
Well, thank you guys for putting your art and time into entertaining us summer after summer. Like, truly, truly thank you, and thanks for making this movie. And thank you guys so much for watching. Tickets to Twisters are on sale now on Fandango.com. My name is Az Perez, and it's a Twister!